A strange thing has happened to Dawn French. At 65, this very funny woman, award-winning actress and best-selling author, has found herself at career crossroads. She feels as though she's actually suffering from being too successful. So, what to do? Well, she's decided to hell with being hilarious. She's going to turn her attention to her failings. There's only one problem, though. Dawn's imperfections are even more amusing than her virtues. Oh, I don't know how to get down the gears.
Are you able to get into third, do you think?
Yes, I did before.
I always go up through the numbers, like we start with 1 and then 2 and then 3.
Oh, yeah, well,
whatever
showing
suits you, though. You know, you do it your way.
Yeah.
You're from the other side of the world, so maybe you do it upside down or something?
Driving Dawn French, or rather driving lessons from Dawn French, in the English countryside of Cornwall.
Oh, you're in. You're into third.
Are as hilarious as the leading lady herself.
Excellent work.
And as we awkwardly navigate gears, Dawn's eager to show off this charming scenery she fondly calls home.
There is nowhere better, sorry to say, but there is nowhere better.
What is it about it that you love so much?
Oh, well, there's sea, and there is sky, and there is clotted cream, and there's pasties, and there's cider, and it goes on and on,
right.
All the good things.
I have to move here.
Mostly to do with eating and drinking.
Milk lemonade. Hello, you. I haven't told anyone about your boob job.
If you tell the doctor you don't want to go on the pill, you know what he'll do?
What?
He'll insert a UFO inside you.
The wickedly funny Dawn French is leaving the delights of Cornwall to head our way next month with a very personal show.
This is Dawn and Tara, but mainly Tara, for 60 minutes.
But in her new one-woman act, Dawn's a huge twat, the joke's on her. She's exposing her most cringe-worthy real-life bloopers on the stage.
Just my big fat ass.
Yeah, so tell me about your new show. What are you hoping to communicate?
Well, I want to tell the backside of the stories. So I tell you from the stage about the moments in my life where I've made massive mistakes. In my career mostly. Some of them are personal stories, but most of them are mistakes that I have made during my work life. And then as I started to write it, I realised that actually I have been a giant twat, really, for a very long time. And more stories kept coming to me, much more than any stories where I've succeeded. I have failed quite gloriously, quite often. You're going to find out how vain I can be, how impatient I can be, how idiotic I can be. And by the end of the show, everybody is owning their own twatness. So I am saying, you know, the twat in me connects to the twat in you. And I'm delighted to say I'm sure you are a twat, Tara. I'm absolutely sure of it. I don't even know you, but I'm sure you are.
I'm such a twat, I would probably pronounce it twat.
Well, twat is fine, twit is fine, but twat is pretty good.
But
yeah,
I was going to ask you what your actual definition of being a twat or a twat is.
Yes.
Is it just supreme stupidity, or is it about being a bit of a dickhead?
Both. It's both. I think it covers a whole spectrum of foolishness, frankly. I think we all know when you have been a twat. And owning up to being a twat is very freeing, you know, because it's like admitting that there's no perfection. It's not possible. It's just not possible. And it's such a pressure. And it's especially a pressure now. I can't believe that we, especially women, we've come this far to what? Hand on to our daughters a life where they have to do selfies and be filtered and try to look perfect.
Well, we're in the era of photoshopping everything out.
We are, yeah. And I'm in the anti-perfection league, frankly, because I don't know how to connect to all those perfect people. I don't believe them. It's where most of your learning happens, isn't it? It's where you're tingingly clear, is when it hurts you a little bit, when you think, oh, I was a twat then, that was really twattish, stop it, don't learn.
That's right.
From that.
I never want to do that again.
Yeah, never want to do it again.
Do you have a particular incident that might keep you up at night that you want to share?
Well, I was going to a royal premiere of a film that I did, where I played the voice of Mrs. Beaver opposite Mr. Beaver in Narnia, The Chronicles of Narnia.
It's a beaver.
Look at my fur. You couldn't give me 10 minutes warning.
And it was a royal premiere with the then Prince Charles and Camilla. And, you know, this was a posh do. And I was very excited I'd met Prince Charles before and I like him very much. And he'd been to see Midsummer Night's Dream where I played Bottom. And he started it, I have to say, just in my defence. He said, well, the last time I saw your bottom. And I thought, because that's true. And I went, yes, and tonight, sir, you will see my beaver. And then, as I said it, I thought, no, that's too far. Stop it. No, too far. And as he walked past me quite swiftly after that, he disappeared. And I was dripping with the kind of humiliation of, what have you said, French? That's ridiculous. I just took it a step too far. And then I heard a voice just going, Dawn, Dawn, like that. And I went, what? And it was Camilla. And I thought, oh, God.
Who is it? It's me, comedy partner.
Much of Dawn's self-described please make it stop material is drawn from her years performing with fellow comic Jennifer Saunders.
And I started to really enjoy thinking through these moments. And I was talking to Jennifer about them and saying, just remind me, I did do that, didn't I? I did do that ridiculous thing, didn't I? I'm not making that up.
So Jennifer Saunders did not jump to your defence. She did not say, no, my dear friend, you are not
I don't know
a
if you've
twat.
ever met Jennifer, but that would be highly unlikely. No, because she's the same as me. When we are together, the things that we relish and share are terrible faux pas.
No, you make me wanna shout.
The ladies have been best friends since the day they met at drama school in the 1970s. Dawn always wanted to be a teacher, but her wing woman had other ideas.
Feeling any better then?
Almost by accident, Jennifer saw an advert. She said, look, they're looking for women at this place in London, because it was an all-male lineup. So actually, I genuinely believe that any women that had walked in at that moment would have got the job. If you had tits, you had the job. And we certainly had the tits.
What a horrible old gypsy.
We didn't really have a great routine, but we gave it our best shot, and suddenly there we were performing.
It didn't terrify you?
Didn't terrify me at all, because it was like the best fun. It's like being with your best mate in the dressing up box, showing off what's not to like. You know, I couldn't believe we were getting paid for it.
Finding enormous success together made going solo initially daunting.
When I first started touring on my own without Jennifer, it was difficult. I remember the director saying to me, why won't you stand in the centre of the stage? Stand in the centre, you keep moving off. I said, oh, because she stands there, you know, and so I was always used to having another bird there. They said, stand in the centre, you know, metaphorically and literally stand in the centre and own that place. And of course, once you do, then you're completely at home there.
Your new vicar.
Hello?
For the past 4 decades, we have got to know and love the hilarious and now centre stage Dawn French.
And the impending madness of my dementia, which I'm absolutely sure has already started. Of my dementia, which I'm absolutely sure has already started.
But as you're about to see, this comic genius has another side that she keeps hidden. Have you ever been challenged yourself with mental illness?
I have worried that it's an inherited thing.
Pentilly Castle and an audience with Britain's Queen of Comedy, Dawn French. This is when we come to the most controversial point of the afternoon.
Indeed. I'm ready for you. Bring it on, sister.
But little did I know I was entering a centuries-old battle over the right way to serve Devonshire tea, or as they call it here in Cornwall, cream tea. What goes first, the jam or the clotted cream?
thing. There's a moot point about the stacking of the cream tea and the correct way to stack it. There are people who live over that river there in Devon, otherwise known as the Enemy, who will stack it incorrectly. But I'm going to show you the correct way. Then it's your choice whether you want to eat it that way or you want to be friends with Lucifer.
I'm petrified.
No,
The Cornish way or the Devonish way, a hill this lovable comedian is prepared to die on.
And there are people who would choose to put the cream first. Wrong. We here in Cornwall are proud of our clotty cream. It is the crown and it sits on the top. If you are ashamed of your cream, put it on the bottom and then put your jam on the top, and good luck to you. I'll see you in hell.
Dawn French has been making people laugh since the 1970s.
Here it comes.
Now at 65, she is reflecting on and relishing how failure has been her greatest success. Celebrating her mistakes in her new solo act, the self-deprecatingly titled Dawn French is a huge twat. Being a twat in the way you describe does come out of nervousness and anxiety or shyness. I don't know that many people would consider that you would be shy or anxious or nervous.
Oh, I am. Yeah, I am. I am. I think I have discovered now, with some maturity, that I'm a kind of functioning introvert, that I prefer my own company. I prefer to be quiet. I'm relieved when I'm quieter, when I'm just with my family. That's the real me.
How do you like being 65?
I like it pretty well. I had a shock the other day. I don't know what the deal is in Oz, but I had a letter come through the post the other day offering me my state pension. What the fuck? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was to the wrong person. I know I'm 65. But it really shocked me that I'm apparently going to become a pensioner in a minute. But on the other hand, it's some free money. So I'm not going to argue it either.
As a child, Dawn was raised in a Royal Air Force family. With Mother Roma, Father Dennis and older brother Gary, theirs was a nomadic life, moving every 6 months. It was tough, but comedy was their lifeblood. When did you first realise you could make people laugh, that you are funny?
I would say that would be inside the sort of scaffolding of my lovely family, where everything was dealt with humour. And I know as a kid, the dynamic in my family was such that my dad and I were the sort of performers. You know, my dad was very funny, and so, you know, we would always be impersonating people or taking the piss out of people.
From a very young age, Dawn was encouraged by Dad to embrace her talent and imperfections. But sadly, by the time she was 18, he'd succumbed to depression. You've said that he described you as a beauty and a prize.
Yes.
And that was a very potent message.
Yes.
Why was that so important to you?
Now that I look back on it as an adult, I think, oh, God, he needed to give me some armour. Simple as that. He told me that I was fantastic and that I should value myself and that I deserved the best. But I have never doubted that I'm not worth something. And I think that he gave me that. You know, a little chubby girl, you could grow up with all kinds of insecurities, and I just didn't. It was nothing about my appearance or my personality or my life was ever undervalued.
Growing up, did you have any sense of your dad's fragility?
No. As is so often the case with people who have the kind of depressions he had back then, very well hidden. And also, it was only very occasional for him, I now discover. So most of the time, my dad was a very cheerful, supportive, happy chap. But he also had these moments, these black dogs, where he just, you know, couldn't cope. And then he would get stronger and he would be back on the horse again. So that's what I thought was going on until, of course, he couldn't cope with it anymore. And then it was just terrible. Yeah.
So you live with the consequence of your dad taking his own life?
Yeah.
In no way prepared for that to happen?
No, it was like a bomb going off in the family. And the grief was enormous. And as I've grown older, past his age, which is weird, I understand it. I understand about mental health. And I understand about the 7 kinds of hell he must have been in.
Have you ever been challenged yourself with mental illness?
No, I've had sadnesses, but I don't think I've ever sunk to depths like that. You know, I worry. I have worried that it's an inherited thing, but I don't seem to have that. I've got too much to live for, I think.
These days, Dawn's happily married to second husband, therapist Mark Bignell. She's a doting granny, a prolific performer and an accomplished author who is most at home living the quiet life in her quaint Cornwall village. You bring so much joy to people's lives. Is your life joyful?
Oh, yeah, I think it is at the moment. And I find joy in lots of very tiny things. I'm the sort of person, I do not need to be swimming with dolphins or jumping out of helicopters or travelling to Machu Picchu to feel like I've achieved something in life. I like time with my granddaughter. I like lovely, simple, easy things. Attainable joy is what I like. So I've put the bar quite low for being able to be very happy so that it's completely manageable. And I have all of that. I've got a love-full life. Let's put it that way. I love a lot of people and I feel loved by a lot of people. So I can't ask for more than that.
If this story has raised issues and you need to speak with someone, call Lifeline on 13 11 14. Hello, I'm Tara Brown. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our extra minutes segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes on 9now.com.au and the 9Now app.